Yo, what's up, guys? I'm back with a video. And today, man, I will be predicting the 2021 NBA playoff. Now, I did this all on my Twitch at twitch.tv/yourboyJohn. Make sure to follow me there if you guys already don't follow me on Twitch. This was all taken from that stream. I did this for about an hour and explained why I made all of these decisions. But other than that, here is this, and here are my 2021 NBA playoff predictions. So my first prediction was that the Warriors would make the upset, being the 8th seed, beating the Utah Jazz, just because I believe the Utah Jazz are just simply frauds. Amazing regular season team, just like the 2015 Atlanta Hawks, but end up folding in the playoffs and just have Stephen Curry just go absolutely off, and they have enough defenders to be able to contain both Mike Conley and Donovan Mitchell, at least scoring wise. And the Jazz's bench obviously is way better with Joe Ingles, Jordan Clarkson, Georges Niang, and that's only 3 players that are actually pretty good. I just needed at least one minimum upset, and why not upset the #1 seed in the Western Conference with the Warriors led by Stephen Curry, one of the top 5 right now MVP candidates. Why not have Stephen Curry upset them, man? Why not? Now the next first round matchup is the Clippers against the Mavs, a repeat of last game's playoff series, which was super entertaining. Now I have the Clippers taking this in 7 just because of their 2 best players, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. I don't see who on the Mavs is stopping Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Especially if Paul George has a great playoff run, this team can go extremely far. Now for the Mavericks, I don't see anybody on the Clippers side that is stopping Luka Doncic. Maybe Paul George, maybe Kawhi Leonard, but all they can do is contain him. Luka Doncic is a special talent and cannot be fully guarded. He can just be a little contained. I just don't see the Clippers with Kawhi and PG getting first rounded. Literally, I cannot see this happening whatsoever, which is why I have them beating the Mavericks in 7, even though Mavs bench definitely is way more deeper. I just really like the duo of both Kawhi and PG, and I feel like they should be without a doubt able to mesh throughout this postseason run and should have a really deep postseason run. Now the next first round matchup is the Denver Nuggets against the Portland Trailblazers, and one word I have to say is Jokic, Nikola Jokic. In my opinion, the MVP for this season. He will be the guy that brings them over the hump and will make them go on to the second round of the playoffs. Even without having Jamal Murray, they still have Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, a moderate bench. So I feel like at least they should make it to at least the second round with having Nikola Jokic on their team. But I do see Lillard having a couple good games, McCollum as well, Norm as well. So this is why I have the Nuggets winning in 6. Blazers will go out and win 2 games, but all in all, the Nuggets will win, in my opinion, in 6 games over the Blazers. Now, the next matchup is the Phoenix Suns against the Lakers, in which I have the Lakers winning because of one word once again, LeBron. Nobody on the Phoenix Suns can even contain LeBron James. He is an absolute freight train, and Phoenix's defense is no match at all for LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Dennis Schroeder, and the rest of the LA Lakers, which is why I have the Lakers winning in 6 games over the Suns. Now moving on to the Eastern Conference side of the bracket, we have Philly against the #8 seed, and I have Philly winning in 6 because they have MVP candidate Joel Embiid, DPOY candidate Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris, a decent bench, Matisse Thybulle, really good defenders, and I feel like they're going to win against whoever they face from the play-in tournament pretty easily in 6 games. Then we have the Knicks against the Hawks, where I feel like the Hawks have no defense to be able to contain Julius Randle outside of maybe putting Capella on Randle, but I feel like Randle is just too agile and too quick for Capella to hold, so I feel like maybe they'll put somebody like John Collins on him, which honestly is a way worse defender than Capella, as Capella is a very elite defender. So I don't really know if John Collins can contain Randle, but if he can, cool. If he can't, this series is over. With Randle, Rose, Barrett, Bullock, Noel, Emmanuel quickly, the Knicks just have a pretty good amount of scores on their team. Shooters, rebounders, defenders, playmakers. This is a really solid Knicks team. I know the Hawks have Trae Young, John Collins, Capella, Bogdanovich, Hunter, Herter, but I feel like honestly the Knicks are just a better team, which is why I have them winning in 6 games over the Atlanta Hawks. Now this next matchup as a Heat fan was hard to make, but as a logical guy, as a logical NBA fan, I had to make this choice. The Bucks got better and the Heat basically stood pat from last year's team. We got rid of Crowder, we got rid of Myers Leonard, we got Dwayne Dedmon. Minimal additions, and the Bucks went out and got Drew Holiday, their starting point guard, one of the most underrated two-way players in all of basketball. They just went out and made better moves than us. So this is why I had the Bucks beating us in 6 games. Might be 7, but I have them beating us just because I feel like they're the better team. They made better additions, and we kind of just stood pat and didn't do too much honestly this offseason. Now the next matchup is the Nets against the 7th seed, where I see the Nets just steamrolling past their competition, whoever they face from the playing stream at spot number 7, and just moving on to the second round honestly pretty easily, because there's no stopping a team with Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Joe Harris, and the others on the super stacked Nets team, which is why I have the Nets winning this series in 5 games. Now the next matchup is the Clippers against the Warriors. Which the Clippers just having a really good series. Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, the rest of the Clippers core having a great series, and I have them winning over the Warriors in 6 games. Especially if the Clippers go out and put Kawhi Leonard on Stephen Curry, that would be a very great matchup. The next matchup is the Denver Nuggets against the Lakers. I have the Lakers winning because the Lakers simply have a guy by the name of LeBron James and his counterpart of Anthony Davis, the reigning NBA champions. Yes, they might not be fully healthy, but come on. LeBron and AD are going back to the finals, and that is simply true. Now back to the East, we have the Knicks against the Sixers, where I have the Sixers winning this series in 6 games because I don't see Noel really containing Joel Embiid. Like, come on, no. Noel's a good defender, but Joel Embiid is just simply a different breed. They also have Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, a really good shooter, Matisse Thybulle, elite defender, Tobias Harris, that's in my opinion the way better team, which is why I have them moving on against the Knicks in 6 games. The next round might be one of the most entertaining rounds of the whole entire playoffs. The Milwaukee Bucks against the Brooklyn Nets, who have played, I believe, 3 times this year, and all 3 times have been super entertaining games. Well, I believe the Bucks won 2 out of 3, but still super entertaining series. Now this time around, I have the Nets getting the revenge and winning against the Bucks in 7 games, like I said, and a very entertaining series. And the series will go down to the wire, in my opinion. The Nets are just such an OP team and just have way too much firepower for Milwaukee to contain, which is why I have them beating Milwaukee in a 7-game series. Back to the West, we have the Battle of LA. We have the Clippers against the Lakers. We have the Lakers winning in 7 games in a super entertaining series, just like the last series between Milwaukee and the Nets. This series, like I said, will be the Battle of LA, the battle for which one of these 2 teams moves on to the NBA Finals, which I have the Lakers, like I said, winning in 7 games because they have LeBron, who was basically unguardable, AD as well, top 10 player when healthy, just an extraordinary talent, and with having 2 of those players on your team, just an amazing duo. And now you get why they are the reigning NBA champions. Do not get it twisted though. The Clippers with PG and Kawhi will put up an absolute fight, win 3 games, but lose game 7 to the Lakers with AD and LeBron. But still, this will be a very great and elite matchup for the game of basketball. Now moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals between Philly against the Nets, headlined by Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons against Kyrie Irving, James Harden, and Kevin Durant. It's honestly insane how the Nets have 3 superstar players on their team and have the 2nd best shooter in the league right now with Joe Harris on the same exact team. It's honestly so overpowered. And also, don't forget about Jeff Green, Blake Griffin, Nicholas Claxton, Bruce Brown. This team has a pretty decent supporting cast, to say the least. All in all, though, I have Brooklyn winning 6, as I don't see really Joel Embiid going down and have to guard somebody like Kevin Durant. I feel like that would be a mismatch for KD, and if KD were to go and guard Embiid, that also would be a mismatch, which is why I have The Nets winning in 6, Philly going out winning 2 games, but the Nets closing it out in game 6 and winning the series in 6 games. Now on to my prediction for the NBA Finals. Wow, man, what a surprise. Lakers versus Nets. Who would have thought, man? Who would have thought? Now this is going to be a series for the ages. LeBron James, AD, Dennis Schroeder, and the rest of the Lakers against a super team. Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, Joe Harris, Claxton, Jeff Green, Blake Griffin, and the rest of the Brooklyn Nets team. Like, honestly, how do you even compete with this Nets team? This team is just so stacked, at least offensive-wise. Now, defensive-wise, AD can expose. AD can go off and could just absolutely feast in the paint because they'll be out here starting DeAndre Jordan, and their backup center will be Nicholas Claxton. AD is eating alive both DJ and Claxton, so I feel like AD should have a great series. And Braun as well, just going down the paint and just feasting in the paint as usual. Now, I don't normally like betting against LeBron in the finals, even though he is negative in the finals. I just really cannot bet against one of the greatest players of all time, but today I will. And I will be predicting the Brooklyn Nets to win the finals in 7 games just because of how OP this team is. If this Nets team does not win, this team will get memed on forever. Knowing you have this many superstar players on your team, this stacked of a team, and you lose to a 36-year-old LeBron James in his 18th season in the NBA. The thing is, I would not be shocked if LeBron and the Lakers end up winning this series because I feel like LeBron just goes absolutely just God mode, playoff mode, especially finals mode. So I would not be shocked if the Lakers win this series. But if I was a betting man, I would be betting on the Nets just because, like I said, their team is just insanely OP. And I feel like there's no way you don't win a championship at least this season. Now, if LeBron goes out and wins this series, congrats to him. And I will have him as my undisputed GOAT, my greatest player of all time in the NBA, over Michael Jordan, who I currently have right now. But other than that, yo, that is the video. Make sure to go down below, drop a like, comment down below, sub up. Make sure to comment down below if you guys agree with me with my picks. Any upset picks that you guys have, make sure to comment down below. Other than that, yo, that is the video. Like I said, make sure to follow me on both Twitch and Twitter. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the videos. It's your boy John, and I'm out, man. Peace.